Hello Warhammer Explorers, hit subscribe and stay with our legion. Your support is what lets me keep making these crossovers. What if Goku became the emperor of mankind? Goku floats in the dark sky above his own Earth, hearing no cries, but still feeling a strange empty pull in his chest. He calls the dragon and asks to be sent to the one place, in all timelines and all worlds, where people need him the most. The dragon warns that the path runs through a storm of broken souls, and that his power will be chained to that wound forever. Goku grins, says he wants to protect everyone he can, and agrees without a pause. Reality cracks, a tunnel of red and gold wraps around him, and he is ripped away into the far, bloody future. The sky above Holy Terror screams. Over the vast hive megacity that rings the Imperial Palace, a line of burning light tears the clouds in half. Vox sirens howl. Gun servitors on the walls of the palace re-aim their barrels, tracking the falling star as it punches through layer after layer of polluted air. Down in the hab levels, a little girl in a grey shift points through a cracked dome window. "Look, Mama," she whispers. "An angel is falling." He is not an angel. He's a man in an orange and blue jai, body wrapped in a golden aura, eyes wide with shock and focus. But to this age, to this world, he might as well be a god. He hits the outer shield layer of the palace like a fist. The entire mountain-sized complex flares. Void shields ripple. Energy sings down into ancient cables. Inside the throne hall flickers as the Astronomicon, the psychic lighthouse for the whole Imperium, wavers for half a heartbeat. Deep inside the mountain, the corpse on the golden throne twitches. Goku feels it. He feels a weight in his chest that is not his own, a dead but burning mind pressed into the warp like a nail. His aura flickers. For 1 second, there is another presence inside his head, a voice like a million prayers crushed together. Then he pushes through the shield. He slows himself at the last instant, ki pouring from his hands. He lands on the open adamantium plate of a fortress monastery roof with a boom that cracks statues and sends robed scribes sprawling. The golden aura dies down. Smoke drifts off his skin. "Whoa," Goku says softly, looking around at Gothic towers, spires and gun cathedrals. "This isn't West City." Bolter barrels snap toward him from all sides. Dozens of warriors in gold armor, taller than any human he has seen, slide into position. Their helmets are blank, expressionless. Each carries a spear that hums with power. They are the Adeptus Custodes, the Emperor's personal guards. But Goku does not know that word yet. One of them steps forward, spear ready. "Halt, intruder," the warrior says through a vox filter. "You stand upon the palace of the Master of Mankind. Identify yourself, or die where you kneel." Goku looks at the spear, then at the men, then at the endless city beyond. "I'm Son Goku," he says. "I'm here to help." The custodian takes this in. For half a second, nothing moves. Then the thunder comes. Something huge roars over the palace. A chaos warship, its hull covered in twisted flesh and iron icons, breaks from the cloud cover. It vomits fire down on the surrounding hives. Void shields on the city's outer rings strain and rupture. Entire hab blocks vanish in sheets of white light and rolling dust. Demons pour from the rents in the sky. They boil out of wounds in reality itself, teeth and claws and burning eyes. The warp storm that dragged Goku here has torn open a hole, and the enemies of mankind rush to claim the heart of the Imperium. Sirens change tone. Ancient warning codes howl across all of Terra. The custodian's helmet snaps toward the falling fire. Drop pods breaching atmosphere. Another voice crackles over a vox link. traitor Astartes signatures, marked world eaters, marked emperor's children. The palace is under direct assault. Goku doesn't understand the names. He understands the screams. He sees the edge of the hive. He sees fire rolling over tiny, ant-like people. His jaw tightens. The old habit kicks in. When people are in danger, he goes. "Let me go," he says. "You are a warp anomaly," the custodian replies. "You will be contained, then questioned, then..." Goku vanishes. To the custodes, it looks like teleportation. One moment, a bare-headed stranger in strange cloth stands before them. The next, he is a streak of gold and blue in the sky, rushing toward the burning hive city. He hits the first demon prince with a punch. The prince is a horned giant in red and brass armor, 8 meters tall, an avatar of the blood god. It crashes through a tower as his fist connects. Warp ichor sprays the air. The demon roars in surprise, then in rage, as his chest caves in and explodes into red mist. Goku hangs in the air above the ruined street, aura blazing, eyes sharp. "Okay," he says. "Definitely not West City." People cheer below him, thousands of them packed into the streets, pale faces turned up, hands raised. For a second, they forget to run. They see something bright in the middle of a nightmare sky. Then more drop pods slam down. Great metal coffins smash into the streets and rooftops, opening like iron flowers. From each one, armored giants step out. Some bear the 8-pointed star of chaos. Some wear the screaming masks of excess. Chains hang from them, and trophies, and smoking skulls. They are traitor Astartes, corrupted space marines, super soldiers who once served the Emperor, now slaves to the gods of the warp. One of them, armor the purple of murder silk, points a sword at Goku. "The palace will drown in joy and pain," he calls in a voice like a choir of broken glass. "Stand aside, bright toy, or be unmade." Goku doesn't stand aside. He moves. He is used to fighting people like Frieza, Cell, and Jiren. These warriors are not on that level, but this world's rules make his strength come with a weight. When he hits them, the warp shrieks. His ki twists, the air itself. Each blow is like a small sun punching into a thick soup of souls. He learns this in seconds, with his body. He darts in, slams a knee into a traitor's chest plate, then whips around a sword swing, grabbing the blade with his bare hand. Kai hardens his skin. Metal hisses and bends. He pulls the marine in close and hurls him straight up, then blasts him with a beam of golden light that cuts the marine and the drop pod behind him in half. On the palace's defense networks, pict feeds flicker. Unknown asset detected, a tech priest drones, staring through his metal lens. Power output off all known charts. Warp resonance extreme. Cross-reference. No match in any cogitator record. "Keep it on every screen," says a woman in a plain dark coat, her face lined with fatigue but her eyes sharp. She wears no armor, but everyone steps aside for her. "I want all data." She is Inquisitor Varro Hest, an agent of the Imperium's secret faith police. Beside her stands Lord Admiral Selene Ward, commander of the Solar Fleet. Her coat bears medals. Her jaw is clenched. "If that man can keep the traitors off Terra for 10 minutes, Ward says, "I don't care what he is. We need him." The Inquisitor folds her arms. "Everything has a price," she says, "especially miracles falling from the sky." Down in the streets, Goku feels the price. Every time he pushes his ki out, something in his chest pulls back. That dead mind, that nail in the warp, drags at him. When he sends a Kamehameha wave rolling through a line of demons, turning them to ash, the light of the Astronomicon flickers again. Ships across the system jolt off course for a heartbeat. Navigators bleed from their eyes. Goku feels 1,000 distant cries brush against his senses. For a second, he stops moving. "What is that?" he mutters. A blood-red axe nearly takes his head off. He ducks on instinct. The blade slices a tower behind him. Stone and metal rain down. He looks up and sees another demon prince, this one covered in brass runes, charging at him through the air, riding on a wave of burning skulls. "You bleed the beacon, little son," the demon growls. "Every strike you make shakes his cage. Lovely. Keep shining." Goku narrows his eyes. "Get away from these people," he says. He does not use his full power. He can't risk it, not with that dragging weight in his chest, but he uses enough. He grabs the axe shaft, stops it cold, and twists. The demon flips, roaring, as Goku slams a straight punch into its throat. Warped flesh bursts. More skulls scream. Goku follows with a spinning kick that sends the demon tumbling back through the rent. In the sky it rode in on. Then he pushes both hands forward. Kamehameha. The beam tears through the warp wound like a lance. The hole over the hive shrinks, shrieks, and snaps shut. For a moment, the sky is only smoke again. People on the ground sink to their knees. On every active screen, in the palace, a golden-haired, bare-headed warrior stands in the air, holding back hell with his own hands. Codex note: the stranger's key, a foreign soul force, locks onto the Astronomicon like a second sun, brightening the beacon but straining the ancient corpse machine that fuels it. Hours later, the sky is dark again. The demons have been pushed back. The traitor Marines who landed are either dead or fleeing through emergency teleport beacons, yanked away by their dark masters. Fire crews and emergency servitors crawl over the ruined hive, pulling the living from the rubble and stacking the dead into neat, high piles. Goku sits on a broken statue's head. His GI is torn. His knuckles are scuffed. His aura is gone. He looks tired in a way he does not usually look. He has fought longer and harder before, but never with that weight in his chest. Never with every big move pulling at a ghost lighthouse in the dark. The little girl in the grey shift stands at the base of the ruined statue, staring up at him. Her mother clutches her shoulder, afraid, but does not pull her back. "Are you an angel?" the girl asks. Goku scratches the back of his head. "I'm just Goku," he says. "I fight to protect people. That's all." Will you stay?" she asks. "They say the bad things always come back." Goku looks at the burning hive. He thinks of the dragon's warning. He hears, faintly, the constant whisper of 1,000,000,000 prayers flowing into the corpse on the throne behind him. "I think I have to," he says quietly. Gunmetal boots echo on stone. Custodians step forward, forming a ring around the statue. Their leader removes his helmet, revealing a scarred, stern face and close-cropped dark hair. His eyes are hard, but not without respect. "Intruder Son Goku," he says, "you are ordered to accompany us to the inner palace for judgment by the High Lords and the throne servants. Resist, and you will be destroyed." Goku hops down from the statue, landing lightly between them. "Okay," he says, "but if more of those things come back while we're talking, I'm going right back out there." The custodian studies him, then nods once. "The master of mankind will decide your fate," he says, "if he still breathes enough to care." The Hall of the High Lords is a mountain of stone and light. Goku walks under arches bigger than any tower he has seen before. Stained glass windows show a dark-haired man in golden armor smiting dragons, aliens, and traitors. Gold and skulls cover everything. Cherubs made of flesh and brass flutter overhead, singing static hymns. At the far end of the hall, a circle of thrones waits on a raised platform. On each throne sits a Lord of Terror, admirals, generals, cardinals, masters of the Adeptus Administratum, and tech priests wired into thick data tubes. They all stare at him, some with fear, some with cold study, some with naked hope. Inquisitor Varro stands in the center of the Yum circle, hands behind her back. Lord Admiral Ward stands beside her, arms folded. Custodians line the walls, spears ready. Goku stops in the open space. "Ah," he says. "Hi." "State your nature," a cardinal booms. His hat is large. His robes are red. "You draw on the holy beacon itself. You bend the warp like clay. No mortal can do this. What are you?" "I'm a scion," Goku says. The word means nothing in this language, but the warp translates his intent. "I'm from somewhere else. Another universe, I think. I asked a dragon to bring me to the place where people needed me the most. I guess that's here." Murmurs ripple through the lords. "A warp-born myth," one tech priest crackles. "Dragons. Alternate realities. Blasphemy." "Alternate timelines exist," Inquisitor Varro says sharply. "We have records of them. This does not mean we trust this scion." "Yes, well, I do," Lord Admiral Ward says. She leans forward. "He stopped a direct chaos assault on Terra with his bare hands. The traitors were seconds from landing on the palace itself. If this man hadn't hit that demon prince when he did, we would be looking at a very different sky right now." "The Emperor stopped worse in his prime," the Cardinal snaps. "We have no proof this creature is not part of some scheme of the Dark Gods to corrupt the throne." Goku listens. He does not understand all the titles, but he understands the fear. He understands the need to protect. It feels familiar in a way that hurts. "What's the throne?" he asks. The hall falls silent. Inquisitor Varro steps forward. "You felt it," she says. "When you fell, when you threw your light around, you strained him. The Golden Throne is a machine made to hold the master of mankind between life and death. His mind lights the Astronomicon. His will keeps humanity from being eaten by the warp." She steps closer, eyes narrow. "Every time you used your power, the throne flickered," she says. "Millions of ships lost their only light. For a moment, all of humanity walked closer to the edge of the abyss. How do we know you are not a weapon sent to finish the job?" Goku thinks of the pulling weight in his chest, of the ghost voice that brushed his mind. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," he says. "Where I come from, when I fight, it only hurts me and the guy I'm punching. I didn't know it would shake that. Intent does not matter in war," the Cardinal growls. "Results do. If he threatens the throne, he must be contained or he could learn to control it," Ward cuts in. "We have psychers who drain the beacon when they overreach, yet we still use them. Train him, test him, aim him at something that deserves that kind of power." "We aim nothing at anything without his will," Varro says. "The master of mankind is not a gun to be borrowed." Goku raises a hand. Excuse me," he says. "If this throne is so important, why is anyone attacking you here? Why don't you move it or protect it better?" A few lords choke. "The throne cannot be moved," a tech priest says, affronted. "It is tied to the very bones of Terra. The palace is the most fortified place in the galaxy." "And yet it was almost broken," Ward says softly. "Because we did not see that assault coming. Because the warp storms are growing. Because the enemies of mankind grow bolder every day." She looks at Goku. "You wanted to help," she says. "Fine. We have an entire galaxy that needs help." Inquisitor Varro studies him. "There will be conditions," she says. "You will not use your full power on or near Terra without direct authorization. You will submit to examination by the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, and the Ordo Hereticus. You will be watched at all times. Goku nods. Okay, he says. As long as I can fight the things that are hurting people. Your ethic, Varro says slowly. Say it. Goku thinks of his family, of his friends, of all the worlds he has seen. I fight to protect people, he says, even if it means I get hurt, even if it means I die. I don't kill for fun. I don't let people who can change die if I can stop it. Silence. That last part, the Cardinal says coldly, is going to be a problem. Up to now, Goku has fallen into the heart of the Imperium, fought off a chaos assault on Terra, and learned that his power is tied to the Emperor's failing light. The Lords of Terra argue over whether to trust him or destroy him. The next test comes sooner than anyone expects. A day later, the War Council assembles. This time, they meet in a smaller chamber, closer to the inner workings of the palace. Hololithic projectors hang over a stone table. They throw up glowing images of star maps, ship routes, and pulsing red threats. Goku stands near the edge of the room, arms folded, listening hard. Lord Admiral Ward points to a cluster of red marks near the edge of the map. This is the Macarian Reach, she says. Agricultural worlds, forge worlds, a major naval depot at Carmentis. All of them just went dark. No astropathic traffic, no beacon return from the local navigators. The last Vox transmission was a garbled scream and a single word, Leviathan. Inquisitor Varro's face tightens. A splinter of Hive Fleet Leviathan, she says. Tyranids, the devourers of worlds. An image zooms in. Gargantuan bioships fill the hollow. They look like whales crossed with knives, each one the size of a city, covered in spines and living guns. Goku whistles low. They eat planets? He asks. Ward nods. They strip biospheres to the bedrock, she says. Every tree, every animal, every person, all turned into more of them. The Reach contains 50 billion Imperial citizens, and a quarter of our current warship reserves. We cannot lose that depot, Varro says. If we do, the segmentum will be open from the flank. Chaos will strike the other side while the Tyranids chew through us from here. This is not just about people, Saiyan. This is about numbers, mass, survival. People are numbers to you, Goku asks quietly. They are lives to me, she replies. But if I save one world and lose 100, I have failed them all. The Cardinal nods. We must consider exterminatus, he says. Purge the Reach with holy fire. Deny the swarm its food. It is written. Absolutely not, Ward snaps. There are still fleets there. There are still guard regiments. There are still Space Marine chapters en route. We cannot burn 50 billion souls without trying to save them. She looks at Goku. We have something new now, she says. We have a weapon that can punch through demon princes like paper. If we can get him to the Reach, he might be able to cut the head off this splinter before it grows. Varro's eyes flick to Goku. The last time he used his full power, she says, the throne shook. If we send him that far from Terra and he cuts loose, we do not know what happens to the beacon. We may save 50 billion and doom 10 trillion more in the long run. Goku steps forward. What if I don't use all my power, he asks. What if I only use what I have to? Varro looks at him. Can you promise that? She asks. In battle? Against something you have never fought before. You enjoy battle, Saiyan. I saw your eyes during the assault. You smiled. Goku flinches. I like fighting strong guys, he admits. I always have. But I don't like people dying when they don't have to. I can pull back. I've done it before. He thinks of holding back against Frieza Cell, all the times it went wrong. His hands curl into fists. "I will do better here," he says, "if you send me." Ward smiles faintly. "He's more honest than most of our lords," she says. The cardinal snorts. "Honesty is not holiness," he says, "nor is it loyalty." Varro raises a hand. "Enough," she says. "We will not burn the Reach, not yet. We will send this Emperor's mistake to see if we can turn it into his salvation." Goku blinks. "Emperor's mistake?" he asks. Varro holds his gaze. "You are tied to him now," she says, "to his throne, to his light. You shake him when you move. You are either sent by his will, or by his enemies, or by blind chance. I do not believe in blind chance." "So you think I am kind of like his fighter?" Goku asks slowly. "I think you are a weapon on the table," Varro says, "and we are about to pick you up and point you at the Tyranids. Do you accept that?" Goku straightens. "I'm not a weapon," he says. "I'm a person. But I'll go. I'll fight. I'll save as many as I can." The journey to the Macharian Reach is a blur of warp light and prayer. Goku sits in the viewing blister of the flagship, watching colors bend outside the thick, ruined glass. He feels the warp pressing against the ship, hungry and hot. He feels, too, the pull from Terra, from the throne, like a chain on his heart. Ward stands beside him, hands clasped behind her back. "You've never traveled like this before," she says. "Not like this," Goku replies. "Where I'm from, we have a friend who can travel between worlds, or we just fly, or use instant transmission. This feels wrong, like flying through a stomach." "That's the warp," Ward says, "a sea of souls and emotion. We sail it because we have no choice. The Emperor's light keeps the worst things away from our ships, most of the time." Goku frowns. "If I'm messing up that light," he says, "why are we using me at all? Isn't that dangerous?" "It is," Ward says, "but so is letting the Tyranids eat the Reach, and so is doing nothing. There are no safe choices left, Goku, only less bad ones." He nods slowly. "I get that," he says. "Sometimes you have to choose between saving one friend and saving everyone else. I've had to do that before." Ward looks at him with new respect. "You talk simply," she says, "but you've seen things, fought things." He laughs quietly. "Yeah," he says, "a few." When the fleet drops from the warp, the Macharian Reach is already screaming. The first world they see is Carmentis, the naval depot. It hangs in space like a half-eaten fruit. Great gouges scar its surface. Bioships swarm around it, their tendrils sunk into metal and rock. Defense platforms spit fire, but they are drowned in acid and chitin. The Vox fills with cries. Carmentis prime to any Imperial vessel. Breach in Sector 7. They're in the walls. For the Emperor, for the Emperor, for... Then static. Ward's jaw clenches. "All ships," she orders. "Form battle line Gamma. Launch all fighter wings. Prepare to engage the swarm. And get him..." She jerks her head at Goku. "To an assault bay now." Goku floats in the cargo hangar as the doors open to space. He looks at the bioships, at the tiny flashing dots of Imperial fighters, at the streams of torpedoes and living spores. He feels the throne in his chest, faint but present, stretched thin by the distance. Every time he flares his ki, it pulses. "All right," he whispers to himself. "Don't overdo it. Not yet." He pushes off. He does not need air. Not for a while. His Kai wraps his body in a thin field, holding in heat and breath. He streaks across the void like a golden comet, weaving between macro shells and lance beams. The first Tyranid cruiser opens living gun mouths at him. Organic cannons fire clouds of spines. Goku zigzags through them, flipping and twisting in raw vacuum, each move precise. He lands on the hull of the bioship and plants his feet. He presses his palm into the living flesh. "Sorry," he says, "you picked the wrong galaxy." He channels ki, but gently. A focus burst, not a sun. The energy races into the ship like lightning through veins. The whole bioconstruct convulses. Its guns droop. Its carapace cracks. Then it goes still. The giant corpse drifts, breaking the line of the swarm. Imperial ships surge forward to take the gap. On the bridge, Ward watches the hollow. "Incredible," she murmurs. Inquisitor Varro stands beside her, hands tight on the rail. "Note the fluctuation in the beacon link," she says. "Every time he does that, navigators report a ripple. It is manageable, but it is there." "We can manage ripples," Ward replies. "We cannot manage being eaten." Goku keeps moving. He punches through another bioship, kicks apart a third. He learns their structures by feel. Ship after ship dies, leaving holes in the swarm. Then he hears a new sound. Not the shriek of dying biometal, not the roar of guns. A low, constant hum, like a dead thing breathing. He turns. A shape glides toward him from behind the Tyranid line. It is not a bioship. It is not an Imperial cruiser. It is a long, black spear made of nothing. Light bends around it. The warp recoils from it. It hurts his eyes to look at it. "Varro to Goku." The Inquisitor's voice crackles in his ear through a tiny, blessedly simple comm bead. "We are reading an unknown contact near you. Do not touch it." Too late. The spear turns toward him and flares. A wave of grey emptiness washes over Goku. His aura flickers and dies. For the first time since he arrived in this galaxy, his body feels truly heavy. His lungs scream. His muscles ache. He gasps, clutching his chest. The throne in his heart goes quiet. He starts to fall. The spear follows, humming. On the bridge, cogitators scream. Null field resonance, a tech priest chants. Pariah-level suppression. This is not Tyranid. This is something else. Varro's eyes narrow. "Xenos collaboration," she says. "Or something older. Divert fire now. Target that spear." Lance batteries scream. Bright beams slash across space. They hit the spear dead on and vanish. The beam light folds in, swallowed whole. Goku flails. He tries to summon ki, to call light into his hands. Nothing comes. It is like trying to breathe in a room with no air. The spear closes. For the first time in a long time, he feels something close to fear. Power scaling interlude. On the bridge, Ward grips the rail. "Explain," she demands. "The Cyan's power is soul force," Varro says, voice tight. It shines in the warp like a second star tied to the throne. That spear is made of its opposite, the pariah field, a null. It eats warp. It eats light. It will drink his ki dry. "Can it kill him?" Ward asks. "If he fights it the way he fought the demon," Varro replies. "Yes. It will turn his strength into his prison." Goku closes his eyes. No ki, no bright flares, no instant, explosive moves. Fine. He bends his legs and kicks off the corpse of the nearest bioship, aiming himself at the spear. It rushes to meet him. The emptiness gnaws at his skin. His vision dims around the edges. He waits until the last second. Then he twists. Instead of trying to blast through it, he grabs the spear. His hands scream. His bones feel like ice. Every instinct he has tells him to pour power into his grip. He does the opposite. He relaxes just enough and lets the spear's hunger drink only the smallest trickle of ki. He uses its pull like a rope. As it drinks, it tugs. He moves with that tug, flipping around the spear, twisting his body in a tight arc. Momentum carries him along its surface. In one smooth motion, he plants both feet against its side and kicks. Hard. The spear jerks off course. It misses him by a breath and slams into the nearest Tyranid cruiser. The null field blooms. The bioship shrivels and cracks, all its warp-touch systems dying at once. The spear's own hum stutters as it eats more than it can handle. Goku hangs in space, panting. His aura is still gone. His chest is still heavy, but he is alive. He closes his eyes and feels for Terra. Very faintly, the throne stirs. "Okay," he whispers. "Okay, no more stupid moves. I get it." He pulls what little Kai he can without tugging on the throne too hard. A thin, pale aura wraps his body. He charges again. He does not try to destroy the spear. He pushes it, kicks it, uses its own hunger to throw it off every time it tries to line up on an Imperial ship. It is like wrestling a starved wolf on ice. Minutes stretch. Finally, the spear's hum glitches. Cracks appear along its surface. Whatever sends it here did not mean for it to be used this way. Goku gives it one last shove, aiming it straight into the system's star. The spear vanishes into the white disk. For a second, the sun dims. Then light returns. Goku hangs in space, shaking. "You still alive, Saiyan?" Varro's voice comes, softer now. "Yeah," he says. "That thing. I don't like that thing." "None of us do," she says. "Return to the flagship. The swarm is breaking. For now." The victory over the Reach is not clean. Carmentis is half-eaten. Several agri worlds are stripped bare. Millions are dead, but billions live. The Tyranid splinter is shattered, its ships either dead or fleeing into deep space. In the command chamber of the flagship, a holo shows the retreat. Ward leans on the table, tired but proud. "You did it," she says to Goku. "You saved the depot. You saved more lives than any guard regiment in history." Goku stares at the holo. His fists are clenched. "I didn't save everyone," he says. "There was a world down there. I heard it go quiet. I was busy with that spear. I picked the wrong target." Varro steps forward. "There were no right targets," she says. "Only choices. Without you, the Reach would be gone. The Hive Fleet would have grown. In a century, they would have eaten 10 times as much. You cut that future away." He looks at her. "You talk about lives like numbers," he says. "I talk about futures like paths," she replies, meeting his gaze. "Each choice closes some and leaves others open. You closed many bad ones today." The Cardinal, patched in Vea, holopic from Terra, scowls. "You also revealed a new threat," he says. "That null weapon, that spear. Someone has found a way to build a thing that can drink the warp and the throne's light at once. That is heresy beyond any we have recorded. Which is why we need him," Ward says. "He felt it, fought it, survived it. Our ships barely scratched it." Varro nods slowly. "He cannot face such weapons alone forever," she says. "But for now, he's the only one who can survive a direct brush with them and report back." Goku looks between them. "What are you saying?" he asks. Varro folds her arms. "I am saying that the enemies of mankind are learning from you," she says. "They have seen that a new light walks the stars. They have built a dark answer. From now on, whenever you fight, you must assume something like that is watching." He breathes out. "So every time I help," he says slowly, "I make them get smarter." "Yes," Varro says, "that is how war works. Every weapon breeds its counter. Every hero breeds a hunter." He thinks of Jiren, of Cell, of every enemy who grew because he pushed himself. He nods. "I know that pattern," he says. "I've lived it my whole life." The argument comes later, in a quieter room. Goku sits alone in a chapel on the flagship. The walls are covered in candles and icons. Most show the dark-haired emperor in gold. Some are already being repainted, traitor hands sneaking in a small touch of orange or a spiky black hair here and there, not yet noticed by any priest. He does not pray. He just sits, thinking. Varro enters, footsteps soft. "You should rest," she says. "You burned yourself almost empty." "I'm thinking," he says. "That is more dangerous," she replies, but there is a hint of dry humor in it now. He smiles faintly. "Back there," he says, "on the Reach. You wanted to burn those worlds. You were ready to give up on billions to save more later. I get the math, but where I'm from, we almost never do that. We find another way, even if it looks impossible." Varro leans against a pillar. "And how many times did that faith pay off?" she asks. "Enough," he says. "Enough that I still believe in it." "And how many times did it blow up in your face?" she presses. "How many enemies grew because you hesitated, because you gave them a chance to change?" His face tightens. "Some," he says. "More than I like." She nods. "This galaxy," she says, "does not reward mercy. It barely rewards survival. The Tyranids will never change. Chaos will never stop. The Necrons will not wake up one day and decide to be kind. If we show mercy where we should not, we invite extinction. But if you never show mercy," he replies, "you become the thing you're fighting." He looks at the candles. "I've seen people change," he says. "Monsters, enemies. I've seen them become friends. I can't just throw that away." Varro watches him. "Then you will break here," she says softly. "Or you will break us. That is the fear, Goku. Not that you are evil, but that your goodness is built for a softer universe than this one." He shakes his head. "Goodness is goodness," he says. "It's not about where you are. It's about what you decide to do when things are hard." He stands. "Send me where it's worst," he says. "Send me to the places you've already written off. If there's no time for mercy, fine, I'll fight. But if there is even a tiny chance, I'm going to take it. That's my rule." Varro's jaw works. "You realize," she says, "that this may mean letting some die to save others, not as numbers, as names, as faces." "I know," he says. "I've done that too." She nods once. "Then we understand each other," she says. "You will not be the emperor we knew, but you may become something like an emperor, a new kind, one they do not deserve, but may need." He blinks. "Emperor?" he repeats. She looks at the nearest icon, at the golden figure on the throne. "He is dying," she says quietly. "Pieces of him are already gone. Something is moving in the warp. The spear was not an accident. Whatever is building these null weapons is moving against him, against us. We will need someone to stand in the light when it flickers for the last time." He follows her gaze. "I'm not a ruler," he says. "I don't want a throne." "Good," she replies. "You may survive one then." Alarm klaxons wail. The chapel lights flash red. Ward's voice cuts in over the vox. "All hands to stations," she barks. "Unknown warp signature at the edge of the system. Not Tyranid, not Imperial, not any registered Xenos pattern. It came in on a wave right after the null spear sank into the star. This is a follow-up strike." Varro straightens. "Here it is," she mutters. "The smarter foe." Goku is already moving. As he runs for the hangar, he feels something new in the warp. Not hunger like the Tyranids, not simple rage like the Khorne demon, not cold calculation like Frieza. A twisted mirror of his own joy in battle. A laugh that wants to see him shine, then see him break. He clenches his fists. "Okay," he says, "let's see what you are." The unknown contact arrives like a wound. It does not glide in like a ship. It does not thump in like a pod. Space itself folds at the edge of the system, then unfolds around a single black shape. It is a pyramid made of dark stone that drinks light. Green lines crawl over its surface like veins. At its tip burns a tiny, cold sun, held in a claw of metal. Around it, tyrannid spores wither and die just by drifting close. Goku feels its presence like a hand on his throat. That's not like the other bugs, he mutters. On the flagship's bridge, cogitators shriek. Xeno's pattern recognized, the tech priest intones. Necron construct, blackstone pyramid, warp nullifying architecture, energy output, unmeasurable, designation, tesseract bastion. Ward swears under her breath. Necrons and Tyranids in the same system, she says. This is not chance. Varro's face is stone. Someone used the Tyranids to mask the approach of that thing, she says. The spear was the first probe. This is the blade. She hits the Vox. Goku, she says. You will not engage the pyramid directly. Repeat. You will not. He's already moving. He can feel it drinking the warp. Drinking is key, even at this distance. If it gets close to the fleet, the navigators will go blind. The astropaths will go mad. The ships will drift, helpless. Sorry, he says into the comm bead. No time. If that thing gets to you, you're all in trouble. He flies. He does not go full speed. The null chill grows with every kilometer. His aura thins. His heart feels heavier. He pulls his Kai tight around him instead of flaring it wide. The pyramid's tip turns toward him. The tiny cold sun brightens. A beam lances out. It is not light. It is the absence of light. It is a straight line of nothing that cuts through space, deleting it. Tyrannid wrecks, dead fighters, and loose rock vanish wherever it passes. Goku moves. Even without full ki, his body is fast. He jerks sideways. The beam misses him by a few meters. The edge of it shaves the fabric of his sleeve away. His skin there feels wrong, numb, quiet. He grits his teeth. He darts under the beam, zigzags in, and lands on the side of the pyramid. Up close, the stone is carved with symbols. They hurt to look at. Each line seems to say, no, no warp, no soul, no light. Hey, he shouts, because talking is what he does. Who's driving this thing? The answer hits him through his bones. A voice speaks directly into his nerves. It is flat and cold. We are older than your son, it says. We are the ones who killed gods. You are a spark in the dark, Scion. We have built a cage for your kind before. Green light blooms in front of him. It shapes itself into a tall figure, made of metal bones and flickering energy. Its eyes are twin emerald flames. In his chest, a black stone spins slowly. It is a Necron Lord, but more than that. Its form blurs, stretched by the power bound inside it. I am the shard-bearer of the Silent Sun, it says. You shine. The Silent Sun hungers. You will serve as kindling. Goku drops into a stance. I'm not kindling, he says. I'm Goku. He lunges. The Necron Lord moves without moving. One instant, it is in front of him. The next, it is to his side, body phasing through the stone, green trails flickering. Goku punches through, where it was. His fist hits the pyramid. Pain screams up his arm. His ki drains out of his hand into the stone. The black material drinks it, pulling it away, feeding it to the cold sun above. Goku yanks his hand back with a hiss. Okay, he gasps. Don't hit the walls. The shard-bearer's staff slams into his ribs. It is not a huge blow. On most days, it would barely make him blink. But his aura is thin, his Kai is being eaten, and the staff is wrapped in a field of nothing. He feels bone crack. Air leaves his lungs. He tumbles off the pyramid, spinning through space. The shard-bearer follows, gliding. "Your light is tied to their beacon," the cold voice says. "We see the chain. Break their god. Free your strength. Burn with us instead. We will eat the stars together." Goku catches himself, stops his spin, and faces it. "You hurt a lot of people for someone who sounds so calm," he says. "Life is noise," it replies. "Death is order. We bring order. Kill the weak flame on your throne. You will no longer be pulled when you strike. You will be whole." For a moment, it tempts him. He sees, in a flash, what it suggests. He sees himself free of the dragging throne, free to go all out, to turn into a blazing star again, without fear of ships drifting or beacons shaking. He sees enemies falling like dust. He sees no chain on his heart. He also sees terror, dark. Humanity, blind in the warp. The Tyranids, chaos, Necrons, and worse pouring in. He shakes his head. "No," he says. "Power isn't worth it if it means I break the thing that keeps everyone else alive." "Your mercy is a bug," the shard-bearer says. "Not a feature." It attacks. The duel is fast and ugly. Goku cannot use his normal style. Every wide flare of ki, every huge blast, would feed the pyramid. He keeps his aura tight and small, fists and feet moving in sharp, close strikes. The shard-bearer slips between real space and phase space. Sometimes his punches pass harmlessly through its ghost body. Sometimes they hit metal and crack it. Sometimes the staff finds him instead, smashing into his shoulder, his back, his already broken ribs. Each hit from the staff carries null. Each hit carves a little piece of him out of the warp. He feels gaps in his own energy, spots where Kai does not flow right anymore. He grits his teeth and keeps going. He has fought beings who can erase universes. He has pushed himself past his own limits many times. This is different. This is death by inches, by subtraction. He remembers something. When he trained with Whis, he learned to move without thinking, to let his body act on its own. Ultra instinct. He cannot reach that full state here. There is no time. The null is too strong. But he can let go a little. Stop forcing. Stop pushing. Let his body read the tiny shifts in phase, the slight warp in space when the shard-bearer goes ghost. He breathes. He relaxes just a bit. The next time the staff swings, he's already not there. He slides past it, inside the arc, and slams his elbow into the Necron's chest. This time, his Kai is a needle, not a hammer. It spears straight through the black stone in the shard-bearer's chest. The stone cracks. The cold sun on the pyramid's tip flickers. For a heartbeat, a third presence pushes between them. Goku sees a huge burning being bound inside the black stone. A star god screaming. A real old god, chopped into pieces and used like a battery. It claws at him with hunger. "Free me," it howls in his mind. "Feed me your light. I will give you all worlds to burn." Goku's head throbs. He remembers Majin Buu. He remembers Zamasu. He remembers what happens when gods get handed more power. "No thanks," he says through clenched teeth. He pushes. He does not feed it. He pushes against it. His ki, bright but thin, presses the shard backward, not breaking it, not freeing it, just jamming it. The shard-bearer spasms. The staff lashes out, wild. It catches Goku across the face. Flesh splits. Bone cracks. Something inside his head rings. He reels. The pyramid's cold sun flares one last time. A wave of null erupts. It hits Goku full on, eating through his ki, his breath, even his thoughts. For a terrifying moment, there is nothing inside him but a blank. No joy, no love, no drive to fight. Then, under all of that, he finds something small and stubborn. He sees Chi-Chi smile. Gohan's laugh, Goten's messy hair, Vegeta's scowl, his friends, his universe, the promise he made when he asked the dragon, "I want to protect everyone I can." That promise is not made of ki or warp. It is just his choice. The Null cannot eat that. He hangs onto it. Far away, on Terra, the corpse on the throne twitches again. A thin line of golden light snakes out through the warp, riding the chain in Goku's chest. It reaches into the Macharian Reach, into the black hollow between the Necron shard and the Saiyan soul. For an instant, Goku and the Emperor touch. He feels a will like a mountain, old, tired, furious, still burning. "Stand," the Emperor's silent voice says. Golden light wraps around Goku's mind, not his ki. It does not give him more energy. It just holds his sense of self together for one heartbeat longer. It is enough. He brings his hands together. No wide beam, no huge wave. Just a focused point of light driven straight into the crack in the shard. The black stone shatters. The star god inside screams. The scream is cut short mid-note as the Necron systems slam closed. The shard-bearer's torso explodes. Its head spins away, metal jaw snapping in silent rage. The pyramid stutters. Its cold sun goes out. Without the shard's mind, the null field collapses inward. The pyramid folds in on itself, shrinking, until it vanishes into a pinprick of dark. Goku floats in space, bleeding from nose and mouth. Aura only a faint outline. He does not cheer. He feels the holes in his ki. The places where the null touched him are dead patches that his energy flows around instead of through. His link to the throne feels scarred, not broken, scarred. Codex note: exposure to Necron Blackstone and Pariah fields leaves lasting quiet zones in the Saiyan soul force, limiting how smoothly he can draw on the Astronomicon tethered ki without pain or risk. The fleet limps back toward Terra. Up to now, Goku has fought Tyranids, survived a null spear, and shattered a Necron shard that tried to tempt him into killing the Emperor's light. He carries new scars in his soul and body, and his link to the throne is damaged but deeper. The Imperium has seen he can hurt things they feared, and seen that enemies are already building weapons to answer him. Now the question is what to do with a warrior who can save worlds, but shake the heart of mankind with every step. The Medicae base smells like oil, blood, and incense. Goku lies on a metal slab while servo skulls buzz overhead, scanning his broken ribs and fractured skull. A robed Medicae priest mutters litanies as he adjusts a humming field generator over Goku's chest. The generator whines. Golden light from Goku's ki pushes back against blue light from the device. They argue silently for a moment, then settle on a truce. Bones knit with a faint crackle. "You heal fast," the Medicae says, impressed despite himself. "I always do," Goku replies, "but this time feels weird." He taps his chest lightly. "Like some of my energy has to go around corners now," he adds. The Medicae frowns. "That is not how bodies work," he says. "It is now," Goku answers. Inquisitor Varro enters. Ward is with her. So is a custodian, helmet under his arm, watching everything with calm golden eyes. Varro studies the readings. "Physically, you will recover," she says. "Soul-wise, that is another matter. The astropaths say your presence in the warp flickers now. You are bright, then dim, then bright again, like a lantern in a storm." Goku sits up slowly. "So I'm weaker?" he asks. "Weaker at being stupid," Ward says bluntly. He blinks at her. "That pyramid punished every big flashy move," she says. "It forced you to be careful. The next time you fight something like that, you won't need to learn the lesson again." Varro nods. "But it also means she says, that every time you drag power through those scars, you will hurt more. You will feel the throne more. Your chain will pull tighter. Goku swings his legs off the slab. If that's the cost of saving people, he says, I'll pay it. The custodian speaks for the first time. Many have said that, he says. Most die before they understand the bill. Goku looks at him. What's your name? He asks. Varlin, the custodian says, shield captain of the Outer Watch. Varlin, Goku says, you've stood next to the throne for a long time, right? Since before your sons burned, Varlin replies. It may be a joke. It may not. Goku smiles despite his bruises. What do you think? He asks. About me, about this chain, about Emperor stuff. Varlin meets his eyes. I think the master of mankind wanted humanity to stand without gods, he says. He became one by mistake, or necessity. Hard to tell the difference. Now you arrive, pulling on his light and flinging it at our enemies, without understanding what it costs. He shrugs slightly. I do not know if you are a blessing or a new kind of curse, he says. I know you risk yourself first. I respect that. But respect is not trust. Varro folds her arms. That is why we are going back to Terra, she says. The High Lords have sent word. The Emperor reacted when you fought. They felt it through the throne. They believe he wants to speak. Ward snorts softly. More like they are terrified, she says. They see you, and they see a future they cannot control. Varro doesn't argue. You will come before the throne, she tells Goku. You will stand in his shadow. You will hear him if there is anything left to hear, and he will judge you. Goku thinks about sitting in front of King Yema's desk when he first died, about gods, lines, heaven and hell. Okay, he says, if I'm going to keep using his light, I should at least say hi. Ward laughs once. You may be the first person in 10,000 years to think of meeting the Emperor as saying hi, she says. The voyage back to Terra is slower and more careful. They travel with an elite escort now. Grey Knights, the demon-hunting space marines, ride in their own strike cruiser alongside the flagship. Sisters of battle, flame-wielding warrior nuns, fill the ship's chapels with hymns. Goku sees them all. He walks through a training hall where grey knights in silver armor practice with force halberds. He watches sisters in white and red kneel before relics, eyes closed, fingers tight on rosary beads. He joins one of the hymns. They stare at him, surprised. His voice is not trained, but it is loud and warm. He sings the simple parts. He does not know the words about sin and fire. He understands the ones about hope. Afterward, a sister with a scarred cheek approaches him. Your voice is rough, she says, but honest. Thanks, he says. You all sing like you mean it. We do, she replies. We die like we mean it too. He nods. I try to live like I mean it, he answers. In the ship's small chapel, Varro and Valen argue like old soldiers. Goku sits a few rows back, listening. You cannot show him weakness, Varro says. Not in front of the throne. Not doubt. Not fear. The warp will take any crack it can find and widen it. He is already a beacon. If he falters, the enemy will see. He is not one of our psychers, Valen answers calmly. He is not a child dragged from some hive and chained to a choir. He is a warrior who chose. If we turn him into another tool, we will break what makes him different. What makes him dangerous, Varro says. What makes him effective, Valen counters. They look at Goku. What do you think? Varro asks him. You keep insisting on being a person, not a weapon. Fine. So speak. He shrugs. I get scared, he says. A lot. Before big fights. When people I love are in danger. When I'm not sure I can win. but being scared doesn't make the fight worse. Lying about it does. Varro narrows her eyes. In this galaxy, fear feeds the dark gods, she says. Our faith teaches people to lock it down, to turn it into hate or zeal or obedience, not to sit with it. That sounds sad, he says. It keeps us alive, she replies. Does it? He asks. You said yourself your emperor is dying. Your worlds are burning. Maybe locking everything down hasn't worked as well as you wanted. Varlin's lips twitch. His point is not wrong, he says. Varro exhales sharply. Fine, she says. Be honest then. Be afraid. Be kind. Just do not break in front of the throne. If you crack, the warp will not only eat you, it will eat us. I won't crack, Goku says. His voice is very simple. I've been through worse. The warp does not like that vow. 3 days out from Terra, the storm hits. The Geller fields that keep the warp back flicker and strain. Strange shapes press against the hull. Voices whisper in every ear, promising, begging, laughing. In the viewing blister, the warp outside looks like a sea of eyes. Goku stands there, hands on the glass, watching. He feels something separate from the storm, a presence that feels like him. It steps out of the warp like a person walking through a waterfall. It has his face, his hair, his build, but its eyes are red, not black. Its aura is not golden, but dark, shot through with red streaks. It smiles wider than he ever does in battle. Wow, it says, so this is the miserable future you picked. Goku does not turn away. So you're, what? He asks. Another clone? A trick? The warp Goku laughs. I'm you, it says. The you that stops pretending. The you that stops holding back. The you that admits the only time you really feel alive is when you're fighting someone who can kill you. Its aura flares. The ship shakes. Wards crackle. Servitors explode. Down the corridor, Varro and the Grey Knights feel it. Contact, a knight says. Warp echo. Signature matches the cyan but twisted. A demonic reflection. Varro runs. Do not engage it in the flesh, she snaps. It wants that. Keep the fields up. We cannot let it fully manifest. In the blister, the Echo Goku walks on nothing. You should have taken the shard's deal, it says. Break the throne. Cut the chain. Go full Ultra Instinct. Become the god everyone thinks you already are. Goku shakes his head. You're wrong, he says. I like fighting. I love it. But I don't love it more than people. I don't love it more than my family. Than all this. He waves a hand at the messy, broken ship. The Echo Goku sneers. You keep saying that, it says. But you know how this goes. The more strong enemies you beat, the more strong enemies show up. You train, you fight, you get happy. People die. You cry for a bit. Then a stronger enemy shows up, and you smile again. Goku's hands tighten on the rail. Shut up, he says. It's true, the Echo presses. You think I'm chaos. I'm not. I'm the part of you that loves the game more than the score. The Necron offered you a deal. I'm offering you another. Let go of these chains. Let go of these people. Come with me into the warp. We'll fight forever. No worlds, no wait. Just us and whoever thinks they can stop us. Goku closes his eyes. He sees for a moment how easy that would be. No guilt. No math. No choices about which world to save. Just pure battle. Level after level. His heart aches. Then he opens his eyes again. I made a wish, he says quietly. I asked the dragon to send me where people needed me most, not where the best fights were. I meant that. The Echo rolls its eyes. People are always going to need help, it says. You'll never be done. You'll never rest. At least with me, you get to be honest about why you get up in the morning. Goku steps forward. Here's my truth, he says. I love fighting, but I love people more. That's who I am. If that means I hurt every time I can't save someone, I'll take that hurt. He raises his hands. No key shines in them. The warp around them is too wild. The echo would drink any light he throws. So he does something else. He bows to his own twisted reflection. Thank you, he said. The echo blinks. For what? It snaps. For reminding me what I don't want to be, Goku says. I'm going to Terra. I'm going to stand in front of that throne. I'm going to ask for a way to fight that doesn't turn me into you. The warp echo's smile flickers. You can't get rid of me, it hisses. I am you. You're a part of me, he says. The part that likes the rush. I'm not going to pretend you're not there. I'm just not letting you drive. He turns his back. The echo screams. Look at me when I'm talking to you. It lunges. At that moment, every grey knight on the ship drops to one knee. They slam their halberds into the deck and shout a single word. No. The word is a thought, a prayer, a refusal shaped into sound. White light bursts from their armor, from the wards, from the runes carved into the ship's bones. It floods the blister, passing through Goku without harm and slamming into the echo. The warp Goku howls as its outline frays. See you next fight, it spits. You can't run from yourself. It rips backward into the warp, shredded by the knight's mental blow. Space outside the glass settles. The eyes in the storm blink, then close. Geller feels steady. Goku stands there, breathing hard, tears on his cheeks that he did not notice forming. Varro arrives, panting, Valen and two knights at her heels. What happened? She demands. Goku wipes his face. I just told a part of me no, he says. It didn't like it. Varro searches his face. Did it leave anything? She asks. Any mark? Any promise you made? He shakes his head. Just a reminder, he says, that if I forget why I'm fighting, this place will be very happy to help me forget everything else too. Valen nods slowly. That, he says, is a lesson most of our heroes never learn in time. Terror rises ahead, wrapped in fire and faith. The fleet drops from the warp into the Sol system. Defense platforms track them. Millions of guns, on moons and in orbit and on hollowed asteroids, all turn to watch. The flagship's vox fills with coded chants. By his light, identify. We come from the Macarian Reach, Ward answers. We bring word of Hive Fleet Leviathan, of Necron interference, and of the warp anomaly codenamed Scion. We request immediate clearance to dock at the Imperial Palace. There is a long pause, then slowly the guns turn away. Clearance granted, the dry voice of a Mechanicus controller says. Under escort, do not deviate from assigned path. Any unsanctioned warp activity will be met with total erasure. Goku stares at Terra through the viewing blister. He sees the ring of hive cities around the shining mountain of the palace. He sees the scars from the chaos assault he fought off. New, raw wounds among older, faded ones. He feels the chain in his chest pull tighter. Home, he whispers. It is not his home, but his heart responds to the throne's gravity the way it once responded to Earth's. Valen stands beside him, helmet on now. From here on, the custodian says, you walk as close to a god as any living man can. I'm not a god, Goku says. Good, Valen answers. We have had enough of those. The landing is a slow march of pageantry and suspicion. The flagship docks with a palace spire the size of a continent. Goku walks down a long, golden causeway between ranks of custodies in full armor. Their spears glow. Blanks, soulless humans, stand behind them in chains, their very presence making the air feel thin and cold. Goku's aura stays small. Every time it tries to flare, the blanks fields push it back. It is like trying to breathe next to a freezer. He glances at one of the blanks. The man's eyes are empty, not cruel, not kind, just quiet. "What did they do to you?" Goku murmurs. The blank does not respond. "He was born that way," Varro says softly at his side. "No presence in the warp, no taste on the tongues of demons. The black ships take such children. The Imperium uses them as shields, as weapons, as armor against the warp." Goku's jaw tightens. "You use people as armor," he says. "We use everyone as something," she replies. "The difference is, some of us admit it." They pass through gate after gate, ward after ward. Finally, they stand before a pair of doors that are not doors, but a single massive slab of gold, etched with 10,000 battles. Varlin steps forward. He kneels. "By right of Long Watch," he intones, "I bring a new warrior to the Master's sight. He carries your light without knowing its weight. He has fought your enemies in the dark between stars. He has been offered easier roads and refused them. He is dangerous. He may be necessary." He looks back at Goku. "Step forward," he says, "if you still wish to." Goku swallows. He thinks of the echo in the warp, of the Necron's offer, of the Tyranids, of the little girl in the hive, asking him to stay. He steps. The slab of gold shudders. It splits down the middle. Light spills out, not bright, not warm. A thin, steady glow, like a candle that has no right to still be burning, and yet refuses to go out. Goku walks into the throne room. The air changes. Time feels thicker. Every step echoes. The golden throne itself sits on a huge mound of cables, pipes, and metal ribs. It is less a chair and more a mountain of machines, all wrapped around a single, withered figure. The Emperor's body is a husk, skin like parchment, eyes like dead suns, jaw locked, tubes run into his bones. His armor, once shining, is dull and pitted. Around the throne, hundreds of robed figures kneel, chanting prayers. Custodes stand like statues. Psychers sit in wired thrones, feeding their souls into the beacon. Goku feels all of them in his chest. He feels the Astronomicon like a constant slow burn. He walks until he stands at the foot of the throne steps. He looks up. "Hi," he says softly. "I'm Goku." No one else in the hall dares to speak. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the corpse moves. Fingers twitch. A breath rattles. The empty eyes roll down, just a fraction. Goku's mind explodes. It is not pain like punches. It is pressure. A storm of thought slams into him. Memories of the Great Crusade, the Horus Heresy, 10,000 years of holding back the warp, 1 second at a time. Love twisted into duty, duty twisted into chains. He sees stars burn. He sees worlds die. He sees sons turn traitor. He sees faith grow where he wanted reason. He sees his own mistakes. He staggers. He would fall. But Valin's hand is on his shoulder, steadying him. "Stand," the custodian says under his breath. "He is not trying to crush you. This is just what's left of him." The pressure focuses. The flood of images shrinks to a single burning point. A voice speaks in his head. "Son of another sky," it says. The tone is tired, but clear. "You wish to help. You wish to carry weight. Now you feel even a grain of what I carry." Goku looks up again. His body shakes. His Kai stutters around the scars in his soul. But he keeps his eyes on the Emperor's sunken face. "I'm not like you," he says in his mind. "I don't plan. I don't rule. I fight. I protect." "You think I did not fight?" the Emperor's thought voice answers. There is a hint of dry humor, old and bitter. "I carved this Imperium with my own hands. I broke Xenos empires and human tyrants alike. I wanted my species to stand tall and free. Pictures flash. The Emperor in golden armor walking with Primarchs at his side, worlds bowing, Xenos dying. It did not last, the voice says. They wanted a father and a god. They built a religion around what I did not say. They killed for my name. They chained me to this throne to keep their fear at bay. Goku's hands ball into fists. That's wrong, he says. They shouldn't have done that to you. What they should have done no longer matters, the Emperor replies. What matters is that I am here, that my light holds the warp back, that your presence has changed the core of what that light is. Images shift. He sees himself over Terra, aura blazing. He sees the chain between his heart and the throne, glowing gold. You asked to go where you were needed most, the Emperor says. The warp, the dragon, chance, or some mix of all three brought you to me. Your key has tied itself into the pattern of the Astronomicon. You are already part of the beacon. Goku swallows. Can I undo that? He asks. If it hurts you, I don't want to. It hurts, the Emperor says. Everything hurts. You do not understand how much this machine takes, but your presence also buys me small, sharp moments of clarity, like this one. You are not only a strain, you are also a chance. The word is strange on his ancient tongue. A chance for what? Goku asks. To change the shape of the burden, the Emperor says. To choose something other than slow decay. To give mankind a champion who is not made of my flaws. The hall seems to fade. The chanting quiets. The throne room falls away, leaving only darkness and the two of them in a mind space. Images appear around them like simple, bright murals. A galaxy burning without him. A galaxy burning with him. A galaxy burning with someone else on a different kind of throne. Listen, the Emperor says, and his voice is soft now. I cannot hold this forever. The Necrons move. The Tyranids feed. Chaos laughs. Even now, in the warp, a reflection of you sharpens its teeth. The question is not whether you will change this age. The question is how. Goku breathes. I'm not a ruler, he repeats. I don't know how to run an empire. You do not need to, the Emperor says. I do not ask you to carry my whole weight. I ask you to choose how much you will take and under what terms. He lifts one withered hand, just a fraction. Light spills from his fingers. Scenes appear. A galaxy where Goku tears the throne apart and builds a new beacon from pure ki, free of the Emperor's mind. The Imperium shatters into warlord fiefdoms. He races from front to front, saving worlds but never staying. He's free, but the species is in chaos. A galaxy where Goku leaves, ripping his chain free, going back to his own timeline. The Astronomicon dims faster. The Imperium staggers. Humanity fights on without him. His home universe suffers new problems he barely recognizes after his long absence. Both bleed. A galaxy where Goku kneels before the throne and accepts a portion of its burden. His ki fuses with the Emperor's dying light. The beacon changes, becoming two-hearted. He is bound, but not fully. He gains a mandate. He gains limits. 3 paths, the Emperor says, each with costs. Before you choose, you must understand your own limits. You think you can save everyone if you punch hard enough. This galaxy will kill that belief. Better you set rules now. The mind space fades. The throne room flows back. Goku realizes he is on his knees. Valen's hand is still on his shoulder. Varro kneels a few steps behind him, head bowed, eyes wide. She has felt only a fraction of what he just did. It was enough to shake her. The Emperor's eyes close again. The light around him steadies. His voice comes one more time, thin as a whisper. "Rise, son Goku," it says in Goku's mind. "You will leave this hall with a new mandate. You will not carry all of me, but you will carry some, and you will not do it as a slave." Goku stands. He feels something new in his chest. The chain to the throne is thicker, but smoother. It no longer tugs wild every time he breathes. It hums, waiting. Varro looks up at him. "Well," she whispers. "What did he say?" Goku stares at the throne. "He's tired," he says, "but he's not done. And he just asked me to help carry the load." Valen's eyes for the first time soften. "Then we are truly in a new age," he says. Power scaling interlude. 2. From this moment on, Goku's Kai is woven into the Astronomicon as a second, living thread. He can draw on it more cleanly near Terra, but every large surge anywhere in the galaxy now feeds back into the throne, either easing its strain or tearing at its wounds. The more he pushes past his scars, the more pain he shares with the Emperor. He gains the right to bend some warp around himself without breaking ships. But every time he does so, he accepts a little more of the beacon's weight into his own soul. The chamber is small compared to the throne room, but still bigger than any place Goku grew up in. Stone walls, a low altar with a plain aquila carved into it. No gold here, no crowds, just Goku, Varro, Ward, and Valen. The door seals with a heavy thud. "You will not be disturbed," Valen says. "The Master asked for this, a private judgment." Goku sits cross-legged on the floor. He is tired in every way. Body, mind, soul. The chain in his chest hums like a plucked string. Varro stands with her back to the wall, arms folded. Ward leans on the altar. Valen waits by the door like a statue. The light dims. Goku's eyes unfocus. The Emperor's voice fills his head again. "Now," it says, "we choose." The stone under him turns to black glass. The walls fall away. He and the Emperor stand, or float, inside a vast, star-filled dark. But this time, the stars are close and clear, painted in simple strokes, like in a child's book. 3 of them burn brighter than the rest. 3 paths, the Emperor says. Each is real. Each has a price in blood. The first star flares. Scenes spill out. Goku sees himself standing on Earth again. His Earth. The blue planet, green and white, hangs under him. He sees Chi-Chi, Gohan, Goten, Pan, all older and changed, looking at him in shock and joy. He sees the dragon, Shenron, coiled around the sky. He hears his own voice, asking to go home. He feels the chain in his chest snap as the wish is granted. The Astronomicon flutters and shrinks. He sees Terra grow dark, ships drifting, warp storms thickening, whole sectors losing their only light, the Necrons and Tyranids and Chaos pushing in harder. He sees the Imperium break into pieces. On his Earth, he sees new threats rise. Gods of destruction watch him with narrowed eyes. His time in the grimdark has changed his Kai. It leaks warp light. It draws enemies that should never have found his home. He is there punching new monsters, saving cities. But he is always a little too slow, because he is carrying the weight of 2 universes' scars in his heart and cannot be everywhere at once. Path of return, the Emperor says. You go home. My light dies faster. Humanity fights on without you. Your world gains a champion who is no longer only theirs. Many live, many die. You save some, you lose more. You are free and haunted. The star dims, the second flares. Goku sees himself walking away from the throne, not back to his own world, out into the galaxy. He flies between stars, no longer answering calls from Terra or the High Lords. He chooses his own battles. He lands on worlds on fire, saves who he can, and leaves before the politics begin. On some worlds, he arrives just in time. On others, he is lured away by better fights. He sees the Inquisition split. Varro on one side arguing he should be guided and worked with. Others calling for his death as a rogue god. Lord Admiral Ward is caught between loyalties. He sees Astartes chapters, Space Marines, fighting each other over whether to follow his orders or their own masters. He sees cults that worship him as a new, bright emperor. He sees riots when he does not come. He sees chaos whisper into all those cracks. The image of a glowing scion in orange becomes a banner in civil wars. Path of the free agent, the Emperor says. You stay in this galaxy, but under no law but your own. You save many. You break our already fragile unity further. Chaos grows in every split you leave behind. You are free, and the knife that cuts us thinner. That star dims too. The third flares. This time, he sees himself kneeling before the throne again. He feels weight pour into him, but not all of it, not even half, just enough. The chain in his chest thickens, then spreads, branching like a tree root. Light flows both ways. The Astronomicon brightens a little. Not a sun reborn. A second flame added to the candle. He sees himself standing on a war-torn world, flanked by Astartes in new marked armor. On their shoulder pads, the double-headed eagle of the Imperium is overlaid with a small, round symbol. A simple circle with 4 bent lines hinting at his old G mark, stylized into something that looks, from far away, like a rising sun behind the Aquila. He sees Inquisitors bowing their heads, not in worship, but in acknowledgement. He sees Ward on a bridge, arguing with other admirals, but now with a new seal behind her, a sigil marking by mandate of the living sun. He sees citizens lighting candles under new murals, the Emperor on the throne, eyes closed. Next to him, a golden-haired warrior with no crown, fists clenched, standing in front of the galaxy. Path of the sanctioned servant, the Emperor says. You accept law and limits. You bind your mercy and your power to rules written in pain. You become a new pillar for mankind to lean on. You are not free, but you may give others a better chance at being so. The star's light steadies. The Emperor's presence turns to Goku fully. Now, he says, you choose. Back in the little stone chamber, Goku gasps. Varro jerks upright. Goku, she asks, what did he show you? He looks at her, at Ward, at Varlan. He sees for just a heartbeat, flashes of all 3 paths hanging over their faces. He thinks of his family, of his Earth. He shakes. I saw 3 futures, he says. His voice is rough. One where I go home. One where I run around out there doing whatever I think is right. One where I stay under rules. Ward's eyes soften. And, she says, what does your heart tell you? My heart tells me to go home, he admits. I miss them. I miss blue skies that aren't covered in gun towers. I miss rice bowls that aren't ration cubes. Varro nods slowly. And what does your promise tell you? She asks. He thinks of the little girl in the hive. He thinks of the Tyrannid worlds, the Necron shard, the echo in the warp. He thinks of the wish he made. I asked to go where people needed me most, he says. Not where I'd be happiest, not where the best fights were. Here. It's like the whole galaxy is hanging off a cliff. Back home, they are strong. They have gods and angels and time. Here, you're running out. He looks at his hands. I can't walk away from that, he says quietly. Not now that I've seen it. Varlan inclines his head. Then the path of return is closed, the custodian says. Ward lets out a slow breath. What about the second? She asks. The free path. No chains. Just you and the stars. Goku meets her gaze. I saw what that does to you, he says. To the fleet, to the Imperium, to me. I'd be choosing the fights I like, not the ones you need. I turn into the thing my dark side wants. A warrior who cares more about the next strong opponent than about the people behind them. He shakes his head. I don't want to be that, he says, even if part of me does. Varro's mouth twists. You understand, she says slowly, that the third path means letting us set limits on you. Laws, orders. It means you will not be able to punch your way out of every decision. Sometimes you will have to watch a world die because the rules say Terra must live. I know, he says. I already had to pick who to save in the Reach. It hurt. It's going to keep hurting. If I make my own rules, I'll still face those choices. The difference is, if I'm alone, no one checks me when I start choosing wrong. Varro studies him. You want a leash, she says. I want guardrails, he says. People who can tell me no when I'm about to screw up. People I listen to, not people who own me. People I work with. Valen actually smiles, just a little. Most would-be gods demand worship, he said. You ask for backseat drivers. Goku grins weakly. Yeah, he says. That sounds right. He straightens. I choose the third path, he says, speaking aloud now, as well as in his mind. I'll be sanctioned. I'll take some of the throne's weight. I'll follow rules. But I need those rules to be clear. The air thickens. The chamber fills with that thin gold light. Words form in his mind again, but this time they are not just the Emperor's thought. They are something like a law being spoken, thin and sharp and binding. Then we write them, the Emperor says. Varro and Ward feel it too. Valen bows his head, eyes closed. 3 lines of thought carve themselves into Goku's soul. The first oath, light and target. You will use your full power only when the survival of a world, a sector, or Terra itself is in direct peril, the Emperor's voice says. You will not unleash suns for pride, for training, or for joy alone. Every time you break this, you will feel my pain as your own. Images flash. Goku in battle, ribs cracking, ki pouring, jolts of throne ache ripping through him like lightning. He nods, teeth gritted. Okay, he whispers. I accept. The second oath, mercy and line. You will offer mercy once to any human foe not wholly claimed by chaos, the voice continues. You will speak the offer clearly. You will mean it. If they refuse, you will not hesitate. You will kill, or break, or burn as needed. You will not waste lives chasing a second refusal. Goku flinches. He thinks of Vegeta, of Frieza, of all the second chances that worked, and the ones that nearly killed everyone. One chance, he repeats. One honest chance, the Emperor says. Then the line is drawn. This galaxy has no room for 3. Goku bows his head. I accept, he says. The third oath, balance and structure. You will not move against the High Lords, the Inquisition, or the Astartes as institutions, the Emperor says. You may argue. You may refuse specific orders that break your first ethic, protect as many as you can. But you will not tear down the Imperium in my name. You will work inside it, change it by example and by narrow cuts, not by breaking its spine. Goku sees flashes of civil war, of him punching the palace apart, of banners torn down and replaced by his symbol, of chaos laughing in the cracks. He shudders. I don't want a throne, he says. I never did. I know, the Emperor replies. That is why you are the only one I can give one to. The light blazes. For a moment, Goku's vision goes white. Outside the chamber, people feel it. In the hives of terror, psychers scream and then fall silent, then laugh in shock. For one heartbeat, the Astronomicon flares brighter than it has in centuries. Navigators across the galaxy see not one, but 2 points of light in their inner sight, twined but separate. In the eye of terror, the chaos gods stir. Khorne feels a new kind of battle joy in the warp and roars approval. Tzeentch hisses at new patterns. Nurgle wonders if this new sun will rot. Slaanesh smiles, curious about a soul that loves both restraint and limit breaking. On a sleeping Necron tomb world, the silent sun's shards twitch inside their cages. One, cracked and scarred, remembers the taste of cyan light. The Necron Lord who owns it turns cold eyes toward Saul. In the void between galaxies, a shadow in the Tyranid hive mind shifts course, ever so slightly, toward this new bright food. Back in the chamber, the light fades. Goku blinks. His G is still orange. His hair is still black and messy. But something has changed. On his chest, where his usual kanji would sit, a new symbol has burned itself into the fabric and the flesh beneath. A simple, round sun mark, 4 short strokes bending within it, crossed at the bottom by a tiny, stylized aquila. He touches it. It is warm. Valen kneels, not fully, not like he kneels to the throne, but he bows his head, one fist over his chest. In the name of the Master of Mankind, he says, voice steady, I acknowledge you as the living sun, the fist of the Emperor, not his equal, not his replacement, his chosen hand. Varro's lips press into a thin line. Then she kneels too, just enough to count. In the name of the Holy Inquisition, she says, I recognize your mandate. I will test it. I will watch you. And I will burn anyone who tries to twist your symbol into a cult. Ward grins and gives a half bow that is more like a salute. In the name of the Solar Fleet, she says, I am very, very glad to have you. Goku looks at them all. I'm still just Goku, he says, a little helpless. Varro snorts. You're Goku, she says, an emperor enough for what we need. Up to now, Goku has accepted a share of the throne's burden and sworn 3 oaths. He has become a sanctioned servant instead of a rogue god. The living sun, the fist of the Emperor. The Astronomicon now burns with 2 hearts. Now the galaxy has to learn what that actually means. The first test comes within weeks. A fortress world named Vardos Secundus hangs on the edge of a warp storm like a stone in a flood. Chaos warbands have besieged it for years. Its people are starving. Its governor has sent 10,000 pleas for help. None have been answered. The old Imperium was ready to write it off. Not anymore. Goku stands on the command deck of Ward's flagship, watching the hollow. Red and black icons swarm around Vardos. Green icons mark Imperial defenses, thin and flickering. We don't have the ships to break that siege cleanly, Ward says. If we go in with standard doctrine, we'll lose 3 fleets to save 1 world. Varro stands with a slate in one hand. Exterminatus was on the table, she says. A virus bombing to deny chaos its prize. Goku frowns. You are going to burn the whole planet, he says. Yes, she replies. The calculus was grim. The storm makes reinforcement hard. The warbands there are not just raiders. They serve a new patron who has been sending strange null echoes through the warp. Goku feels a chill. He knows what that means. The Shard people, he says. The Necrons. Varro nods. Chaos and Necron tech should not mix, she says. And yet, echoes of Blackstone Fields are coming from within the warband's flagships. Someone is building more spears. Goku squares his shoulders. Then we can't run, he says. That's not just 1 world in danger. That's the whole map. Ward smiles without humor. Welcome to thinking like an admiral, she says. Varro looks at Goku, Remember your first oath, she says. You can go all out here. This is a direct threat to a world, to the sector, and in time, to Terra. But every time you push past your scars, you will share the throne's pain. Goku nods. I remember, he says. I'll aim the hurt where it does the most good. He looks at the hollow again. Get me close, he says. They get him close. Dropships roar through the storm toward Vardos' sky. Thunderhawks full of grey knights dive alongside them. Sisters of battle chant war hymns in their transports. Astartes from 3 chapters, Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, and a small, battered chapter called the Sons of Macarius. Check weapons and seals. On one Thunderhawk, a young space marine stares at Goku with open awe. Is it true, he asks through his helm vox, that you stood before him and lived? Goku smiles a little. Yeah, he says. He's heavy. The marine laughs, a short, shocked bark. I am Brother Alec, he says, of the Suns. I grew up hungry on a world like this. We asked for angels. We got you. I don't know if that's blasphemy. It's weird for me too, Goku says, but I'll do what I can. The dropship doors blow open. Fire and smoke rush in. Vardos' surface is a maze of trenches and bunkers. Chaos warbands in spiked armor roar and charge. Above them, a black ship hangs low, its hull bristling with new, ugly crystals that shine with anti-light. Goku steps out into the storm. His aura flares. He feels the throne jolt. Pain hits him like a spear of ice through his spine. He groans. He keeps going. He pushes his ki out in a wide arc, but not as a pure blast. He shapes it, like water guided through channels. It wraps around the Imperial drop zones, forming a thin golden shell that turns aside shells and warp fire without flaring too bright. The warbands roar in answer. From the black ship, a new weapon falls. It is a spear again, but not like before. This one is wrapped in chains of screaming souls, bound with chaos runes and necron glyphs. Its point is a single shard of blackstone, flickering with pink and green flame. Goku's scars scream when he sees it. That's bad, he mutters. Varro's voice crackles in his ear. Living sun, she says, using his new call sign, tasting it. We read a pariah field wrapped in a warp cyclone. If that hits the ground, it will dig a null zone into the planet's soul. The warbands will feast in the cracks. Goku looks at the spear. He looks at the trenches full of guard troopers, sisters, and civilians. He remembers his second oath. He flies. The spear screams through the air. He meets it halfway. For a moment, the world goes white-black as light and hunger collide. He feels the shard's old whisper. Free me. Burn with me. He feels chaos whisper too. Let go. Feel nothing but the fight. He pulls. Not away. In. He opens every scar in his soul at once and lets the pain pour through him, riding his ki. He becomes a conduit, not a wall. The spear's field meets the throne's light in his chest. For a heartbeat, Vardos' sky shows a vision. The golden throne and a cyan in orange, back to back, light pouring out, darkness crashing down. Then the spear shatters. Its shards rain harmlessly as black dust. Goku falls. He hits the ground hard, carving a crater into the mud. Bones crack. Blood fills his mouth. His vision dances with stars. But the warband's spear is gone. The black ship flickers as its power source hiccups. Now, Ward's voice roars over the vox. All batteries. Fire. Imperial warships open up. Macro cannons and lance beams tear into the Chaos fleet. The black ship writhes, its crystals shattering one by one. On the ground, the war bands waver. Alec, the young marine, stands over Goku for a moment, bolter firing. "Living sun," he shouts. "Get up if you can. If not, we'll cover you. Either way, we fight." Goku laughs hoarsely. "You remind me of some people I know." He coughs. He rolls onto his knees. He can barely see. He can feel. Chaos champions charge. Traitor Astartes in 8-pointed armor slam into Imperial lines. Demons claw out of warp holes. Goku remembers his second oath. He rises. He steps into the path of the biggest warband leader, a giant in red and black armor, a demon engine fused to his back. "Stop," Goku shouts, voice amplified by Kai. The warband leader hesitates, just enough. "I am the fist of the Emperor," Goku says. "The living sun. You know what I did at the Reach. You know what I did at Terra. I offer you one chance. Drop your weapons. Walk away from the dark gods. Stand trial as men, not as monsters. You will live. Maybe not free, but alive." Silence falls for a second. Guns lower, just a fraction. The war band leader's helm tilts. Then he laughs. "You sound like a fool," he says. "This is our galaxy now. Your light will go out. We will drink your sun like we drink his." He raises his chain axe. "No mercy," he roars. Goku's jaw tightens. "Okay," he says softly. "You picked." He moves. He does not hold back much this time. He cannot reach his old peaks without collapsing, but he pushes hard, enough to make his scars blaze and the throne flare. He hits the warband like a hammer. Spines snap. Demons burn. Chain axes shatter against his forearms. His ki wraps his fists like tight hot gloves, punching through armor and bone. He fights, not like a man showing off for a tournament, but like a farmer cutting down weeds around a precious plant. Fast, efficient, no wasted strikes. For every champion who refuses surrender, he offers only steel. The Imperial lines surge behind him. Guardsmen who have not slept in days blink in shock as trenches that seem doomed are suddenly open. Sisters of battle chant louder, seeing a warrior who shines but bows. By the end of the day, the warbands are broken. Some flee into the storm. Most lie in pieces. On Vardos Secundus, 50 billion people live to see another dawn. Goku lies on a Medici slab again that night, every nerve burning with shared pain from the throne. "It worked," Varro says, watching monitors. "The spear is gone. The null zone never formed. The warp feels cleaner here." Goku grins weakly. "And the Emperor?" he asks. Varro glances at a small, flickering hollow of terror. "He hurts," she says honestly. "You dragged a lot of strain through the chain, but he is more stable than he was. Your push forced his light to move, not just sit and rot." Goku closes his eyes. "Good," he whispers, "as long as it's not just me paying." Varro looks at him, at the Aquila sun symbol on his chest. "You understand you're making yourself into a lightning rod," she says. "Every new weapon, every new horror, every new gambit will be thrown at you. The enemy will learn you have rules. They will try to twist them." "I know," he says. "That's fine." She tilts her head. "Why?" she asks. He opens one eye. "Because if they're aiming at me," he says, "they're not aiming at someone who can't take the hit." She exhales, half laugh, half sigh. "You really are wrong for this galaxy," she says, "and maybe exactly what it needs." Years pass, not many, not enough. Enough to change things. Astartes chapters now carry, alongside their own heraldry, a small mark on some banners, a rising sun behind the Aquila. Not all. Some refuse, calling it heresy or weakness. Others adopt it quietly, using it as a sign between those who will choose protection over pride when choices are tight. Inquisition cells begin to split into whispered factions. Some call themselves the Circle of Light, working with Goku's oaths, using mercy once before the bolt. Others brand them naive and plot to find the living sun's breaking point. The ecclesiarchy, the church, fights over his image. Some cardinals want to declare him a saint at once. Others want to ban any picture of him, fearing a new god. The emperor is silent on that matter. Goku never asks. He keeps moving, world to world, war to war. Sometimes he arrives in time to offer mercy. Sometimes he arrives only in time to mourn. His first oath keeps him from blowing up every problem. His second keeps him honest about chances. His third keeps him from tearing down the walls that still barely hold. He builds something small in the cracks. On a fortress moon above Terra, a new kind of training hall rises. The dojo of the living sun. Not a temple, not a church. A place where mortal soldiers, Astartes, and even a few robed psychers come to learn how to move, how to breathe, how to fight without feeding the warp more than they must. He teaches them to feel their own limits. He teaches them that power is not just about how big a blast you can throw. Valin sometimes watches from a balcony. Varro visits once, stands in the doorway, and leaves without stepping in. Later, she sends a squad of stormtroopers to train there anyway. Ward rarely comes. She has fleets to run, but she sends young officers. They learn to think about saving lives, not just winning battles. One day, back on Terra, in the same hive where it all began, the little girl in the grey shift stands before a new mural. She's older now, taller, still poor, still hungry, but her eyes are brighter. The mural shows two figures. On one side, the emperor on the golden throne, head bowed, light pouring from his eyes. On the other, a man in an orange G, hair wild, fists ready, standing not above, but slightly in front, as if shielding. Above them both, the Aquila spreads its wings. In the center of its chest, where the two heads meet, a small sun symbol glows. The girl's little brother tugs her sleeve. "Is that him?" he asks, pointing at the throne. "Yes," she says. "That's the emperor." "And that?" he asks, pointing at Goku. She smiles. "That's the emperor's fist," she says. "The one who came when the sky was on fire." "Will he come back if it burns again?" the boy asks. She looks up at the smoke-haze sky. She has heard stories of Vardos, of the Reach, of places further away she can't even name. "Yes," she says. "Maybe not for us. Maybe for someone else. But he'll be out there, punching." The boy nods, satisfied. They walk away to stand in line for ration cubes. Far away, in the warp, the Echo Goku sits on an invisible rock. It watches the two-hearted Astronomicon with narrow red eyes. It has not gone away. It has just learned to wait. "You think you can ride rules forever," it mutters. "You think you can bleed like this without snapping? Fine. I'll wait." Behind it, things move. Shadowy shapes shaped like Chaos Champions. A Necron shard, cracked and simmering, drifting closer with chains of logic. A faint, insect-clicking pressure from Tyrannid minds. They all look at the twin suns in the warp. They all start planning. "You'll break," the Echo says cheerfully. "Or they will. Either way, I get my fight." On Terra, in the throne room, the Emperor's corpse sits as it always has. To human eyes, nothing has changed. To those who can feel the warp, something is different. The throne's light flickers less. The edges of the Astronomicon are sharper. There is a faint sense, not of hope, this is 40K after all, but of a new variable on the board, a new kind of risk, a new kind of chance. Deep inside what is left of his mind, the Emperor considers the possibilities. He has given away a piece of his burden to someone who did not ask for it. For the first time in a long time, one of his choices makes him feel something like curiosity. Let us see, his thought brushes the warp, what a hero from a kinder sky does when trapped in this one. In the void above a distant, nameless world, Goku floats alone for a moment between wars. He closes his eyes. He feels Earth, faint and far, on the other side of realities. He feels terror, heavy and near, in his chest. He feels the Astronomicon humming, not just as a weight now, as a song he is part of. He smiles. I'm still just Goku, he tells the stars, but I'm also something else now. That's okay. He opens his eyes. Wrecks drift around him. Signals flicker on the edge of his awareness. Someone, somewhere, is screaming for help. He turns toward the sound. Let's go, he says. He flies. Codex note. By decree of the High Lords of Terror, under the silent assent of the Master of Mankind, the being known as Son Goku is recorded in the Librarium Imperialis as Imperator Manus Solis, the Emperor's living sun fist, sanctioned to wield the Astronomicon's reflected light under the three oaths. His symbol to be honored, but never worshipped. His mandate to protect humanity at any cost, short of breaking the throne itself.